Hey guys, what's up? MiataMods here. So, as you can see, I'm not in my garage at the moment. I'm outside, filming, next to a school, because this happened. The car sounds like it's running on 3 cylinders, and I think it has something to do with my ignition. So today I'm going to replace my spark plugs and spark plug wires. Hopefully that will fix the problem. Now before you start, let the engine cool down a bit so you don't burn yourself. The first step is removing the old spark plug wires and the spark plugs. I recommend doing one spark plug and one wire at a time, so you can't mess up the wiring. For your reference, the first lead goes to cylinder 3, the second lead goes to cylinder 2, the third lead goes to cylinder 1, and the fourth lead goes to cylinder 4. To remove the spark plug wire, twist the boot a few times and pull it straight up. Don't pull on the wire, but rather the boot itself. The next step is to remove the spark plug. You will need a spark plug socket for that, and for these spark plugs it needs to be a 16mm socket. It may take some force to break them loose. Keep twisting until the spark plug is completely loosened. My socket is magnetic, so the spark plug comes right out. But if your socket is not magnetic, use the spark plug lead to get it out. You can also use some needle nose pliers. That does not look good. Before you insert the new spark plug, make sure that the spark plug gap is correct. The gap needs to be between 1 and 1.1 millimeters, or 0.040 and 0.043 inch. The packaging states that the spark plugs have a 1.1 millimeter gap, but it's a good idea to check it with a spark plug gap tool like this. This one is the 1 millimeter gap, and as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this fits really nicely. So this is a 1 millimeter gap. Some spark plugs need some anti-seize on the threads, but mine already has a coating, so these are ready to be installed. What I am going to do is add some dielectric grease to the spark plug. This will protect the spark plug against moisture. Put a little bit on a Q-tip and smear it on the porcelain part. Like so. Don't put grease on the tip or the electrode. Be careful with the spark plug. Don't just let it fall down into the engine. Instead, use a socket or pliers to put it in place. After that, it's really important that you hand tighten the spark plug first before using your socket wrench or torque wrench. This will prevent you from cross-threading the threads. Now that the spark plug is hand tight, you can either get your socket wrench or your torque wrench. If you have a torque wrench, set it to 15 foot-pounds or 20 Newton meters and tighten the spark plug. If you do not have a torque wrench, check your spark plug packaging. It says here to twist it a quarter to a half turn after it's hand tightened. The last step is to replace the spark plug wire. Twist the boot a couple of times and pull it straight upwards. After that you can install the new spark plug wire. But before I install it, I'm going to add a little bit of grease to the spark plug wire as well. I'm only adding the grease to the boot that connects to the ignition coil. Same technique, put a little bit on a Q-tip and smear it on the inside of the plug. Like so. Be careful that you do not hit the inner metal part of the wire. It's only needed on the edge, so it's protected against moisture. Press down firmly on both ends so you have a good connection. I'm now going to do the 3 other spark plugs and spark plug wires. Alright guys, that's it. Let's try her out. Here goes nothing. Oh, yeah. Perfect. It's fixed. The engine is running fine again, so replacing the spark plugs and spark plug wires was the solution. I want to end this video with a couple of tips. Make sure that the engine is cooled down before doing this job. Tighten the spark plugs to 15 foot-pounds or 20 Newton meters. Add some dielectric grease to the spark plug and wire to protect them against moisture. Check if your spark plugs need some lubricant for installation. Denso recommends not using any lubricant because this being Dude. Check if your spark plugs need some lubricant for installation. Denso recommends not using any lubricant because this has been linked to seal leakage. Check the spark plug gap at every service using this tool. Replace your spark plugs every 2 years or after 25,000 kilometers. Replace your spark plug wires every 5 years or after 50,000 kilometers. If you reinstall your spark plugs, let's say after a compression test, don't tighten them a quarter to a half turn. It should be 1/12 of a turn. If you reinstall your spark plugs, don't tighten them a quarter to a half turn. It should be 1/12 of a turn because the gasket is already compressed. To keep you from installing these spark plugs too tight, I recommend to always use a torque wrench. And that's how you replace your spark plugs and spark plug wires. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. The tools and parts you'll need for this job are in the video description, as well as my social media links. If you haven't subscribed already, click on the MiataMods logo below and don't forget to turn on notifications. For more MiataMods videos, click here. Thanks for watching. Bye guys!